Okay, I just solved the issue with the fact that there was no default constructor for character, and that was causing an issue. So now, while doing that, I noticed another issue. Don't see the error for it yet, but I'm sure it's down there the road. But I'm calling the get function associated with my map class. I don't have a get function with my Wonderland map class because map is an object of type Wonderland map. Where is it here? Right here. So map equals Wonderland map. Map is a private instance variable of Wonderland map. And if I look at my Wonderland map class, I have a get map function, but not which returns the location. Correction, it returns the whole map, and I have a get location function, which returns. It uses this at method, so the at method associated with a vector, std vector, which is what this is. The Wonderland map is a vector because it's derived from the std vector class of type location. So it's vector of location. So I'm using the at method associated with a vector by using the pointer the arrow operator. So taking the pointer and pointing to where the pointer points, which is this vector of type location, and I'm using the at method to grab and the array index that gets passed into the method to grab the location. Anyway, long way to say is get location is the name of the method. However, I'm calling the get method, which is not. So I could get rid of this by just calling get location, and that'll get rid of it. So that's all I wanted to show. We'll see that error down, or we would have seen that error somewhere in the code. In fact, let's see if we can search for it. Get, so Control F. Actually, I don't know how to find in this, but it would be in there somewhere. Basically, we'd be looking for something that says, get right here, actually. So right here in the Adventure Wonderland and text-based adventure game header file, in the constructor, we have an error because class Wonderland map has no member named get. There's no member function get. As I showed you, there's only a get location. So, which we apparently have another issue with get location here. Player.getLocation equals map.getLocation. I'm using the equality operator to compare these two things, but I'm guessing that I haven't overridden the equality operator for these classes. The equality operator would work on strings and primitive types like ints and stuff. It doesn't work on user-defined types like player.getLocation. That's now going to be of a type location, which is a user-defined class. This location is also because map.getLocation of the caucus rate map location. This is just a constant representing, I think, 5, index 5, and it returns obviously the caucus race map. So I can't compare locations directly with an equality operator because I don't have one. So I haven't overridden it. However, let's do that right now. This error is on the screen. It's 173. It's just below 24, 27, 19, 34, 20, 11, whatever. It's right here. We're going to get rid of that, and we're going to get rid of this at the same time. So I've already should get rid of that. I've already got rid of this because I've done this. So when I re-upload that code, that one should already go away. So we'll expect 111 to disappear here when I clear this. So when I compile, a lot of errors. But as we can see, we got rid of 111. We still have our 173, but 111's gone. So we've already cleared that. Now let's go deal with this equality operator and get location. So we're going to go to our location class, which is right here. And the way we can get rid of that is we just need a way to compare locations. So we can just create a function right now. I'll create it up here, so it's way up here. And I'm going to make it a friend. Let's do it right at the top just so we can see it. Nice and big here. So friend, and I've talked about that in a previous thing. Friend, well, I'm going to go operator. There's going to be something before this, but operator equals. And it's prompting me to automatically put in, it's accepting two parameters. A left-hand side parameter, which will be on the left-hand side of the operator. So constant, so pass in a location by constant reference. We're not going to change the location that gets passed in, and that's going to be our LHS left hand side. That's just perimeter name. I can make this anything. And then the second location object will be here. And what is it going to do? It's going to return a boolean. And how does this work? Well, we're going to write some code. Really, we're just going to do this. Return, we're going to grab the private instance variable name associated, well, it's just, it auto filled in name for me. It said, hey, compare the names of the left hand side object and the right hand side object, i.e. compare the names of the name of the location in that. But I don't have a private instance variable name in the location function, as you can see here. There's no name, which is actually kind of surprising to me, but I guess it's because I just had, when I created this function, it's funny, I have a get name function. I'm not really sure what's happening here. I haven't went through some of this code. I've made so many changes, but it's weird. I don't actually have a name, so that will cause a problem. Even if I explain the problem, guess what it's going to explain? It's going to be like, hey, you don't have a name instance variable, so I'm going to make one. But let's see. The issue is that name member variable is inaccessible in the context of location class. This is because the name member variable is likely declared as private in the game object. Oh, that's why I don't have it. It's likely declared as private in the game object class, which is the base class of the game object container, and therefore location. So in C++, when a member variable is declared as private, it can only be accessed within the same class and not by the derived or other classes. So yes, because location, class location, is a derived class or a child class of game object container, I would have to go to game object container and see if there's a name variable here. There's not, but game object container is a child class of game object. So if I go to game object, and the game object is it's just the base class, there's no derived class. So, and there is a name variable of type string. I'm sorry I forgot this. It's just I've made this code a while ago. Made lots of iterations. I'm doing a few courses at once, so brain's kind of all over the map. But there's a string variable here, but I've declared it as private. I really should have made this public, or protected rather, so that if I make this protected, it'll be now accessible to all of the derived classes. So let's do that for a second. That's one option to sort it out, and you can see that it seems sorted now. And comparing the names is fine. Basically, that'll tell me if it's the same thing or not. That seems fine enough. I mean, there's other things I could do. I could compare their descriptions, blah, blah, blah. Name is quite fine. If I now go to the, and if I save this, if I now go to the compiler, if I recompile this, I should get rid of this 173 error. Let's try that. Still lots of other errors, but no 173. We have 105 and then no 173, so we've corrected that. But let's see what else they would have said, because Codium was telling us something. It was saying to fix this issue, you can either declare the name member variable as protected, which is what we just did, in the game object class, which would allow derived classes like location to access it, or we could provide a public or protected getter method in the game object class that allows access to the game member. That's probably the best option, actually. That's what I might do. Because making it protected that all these things have access to it, it probably would be better, just like I said, to make a public or protected getter method. Use a different approach to compare the names of location objects, such as using the public or protected method and returns the name. So another approach would have been, what they're saying is, I did it this way, where I just went to the game object, the base class. Where is it here? Let's just close this for a second. I went to the game object and just made this protected. I could have just left it private. Let's just do that. We'll show all the different ways we could have done this. And let's just make some accessor and getter methods. We have a get name, set name. I'm going to just make these. Right now they're public because they're under this public thing. So I should have access to this get name. If I go to my location class and instead try to grab the member variable, if I just go get name, and I compare it with this get name, and I save that, we're going to recompile, and this error should not come back, hopefully. So there's 105. In constructor to display candidates. I don't see the equals operator causing any issues. We do have another error. We have this issue on line 105, but that's in the header file. That's in the constructor. So yeah, that's not in the location. So we've corrected that issue by just using our get name and where is it? Our get name and right here. Yeah, so I'm calling the get name function and get description, and you'll notice I don't have a get name function or a get description function here. So because I didn't override it, I'm just inheriting them from game object container, which is what location is derived from. Remember, location is derived from game object container. So game object container, does it have a get name function and get? No, it doesn't. So it's deriving it from the get object function. So ultimately, I'm calling these and just returning the name, this private instance variable associated with location in that case. So yeah, that's one way to solve it. Lots of different ways we could use that getter and setter. What was some of the other things it recommended we could have done? Yeah, we could have made the getter and setter methods private. Lots of different ways you could do it. So again, protected, you can make your get name function in the game object, the base class. Protected, we made it public, so that's fine. Theoretically, maybe protected probably is better than public, because you don't want anyone making a game object per se. Yeah, we create this. Then in the location class, either way, you could use the getter method to access name variable like this, but ultimately we had to override this, the equality operator. So that's how we fix that, and we'll come back with another error soon.